Fig and honey is a common cuisine combination in many parts of the world. I felt like that would be a great combination to have in a fragrance. And of course, fig and sandalwood goes really well together from what I've seen from other creations. And that is the original base idea for our next release, Mr. Opulence. Fig, honey, and sandalwood. Unfortunately, this is meant to be our head turner fragrance. And generally, honey and sandalwood, the natural stuff, or the best ingredients, I was informed that actually they don't project that much. And so we had challenges initially at making this project and making this our head turner. Our final release coming out now for Atrium is Mr. Opulence, which is going to be our Connoisseur Collection's head turner. To remind you guys, Atrium now has two permanent collections. The Curiosity Collection, which is creative perfumery for all age groups, contains Mr. Momentum, Mr. Romantic, Mr. Maritime, Mr. Majestic, and our recently released office fragrance, Mr. Debonair. Then we have the Connoisseur Collection, which is more for the mature gentlemen who want creative perfumery. Also, we have Mr. Fragrance as our versatile fragrance. Then we have Mr. Mesmeric, Mr. Elegance, Mr. Opulence in the head turner category, and then we also have Mr. Radiance in the warm weather category. Mr. Opulence completes our finalized 10 fragrance permanent collection. This is mature, it smells like money, and it's loud, and of course long lasting, and it uses some of the most expensive perfume ingredients in the world, hence the name. This is a placeholder bottle, so I'm just going to put this down for a second. Mr. Opulence starts off with the top notes of lemon, honey, and fig. As I said before in the intro, honey and fig is just a great combination. You see it in culinary cuisines all over the world. It's a really interesting combo because I feel like fruit notes are just very interesting notes in general. Honey is not a note you see often in men's perfumery. I think it's actually more common in female fragrances. So I think it's a bit sad. It needs to be used more in men's perfumery, in my opinion. I have my sample here. And by the way, guys, yes, this was a fragrance created by John Stephen, who made some of our previous work. So he made Mr. Fragrance, Mr. Elegance, as well as Mr. Radiance. So this is his fourth, potentially final creation with us. On the initial opening, you can just tell this smells very expensive. This is one of the best perfumes I've ever smelled in my life, and you have to experience it to see if you agree with me or not, because it is just using some very expensive materials. It's using, if the compound is first of all similarly priced to something like Mr. Radiance and Mr. Elegance, it's going to be finalized at £150 overall, not the same price as Mr. Radiance, because this is going to be an eau de parfum 20%, which makes it more affordable. It doesn't need to be at 25%. The stuff is already long lasting and very loud as it is already. You get the combination of the brightness of lemon, a really nice sweet fig note in here that smells a little bit green, a bit fruity, but playful, and the honey is very distinct. That makes it super full of character, and I feel like the honey actually stays throughout the entire duration of the fragrance with all the other notes also. You can tell it's very opulent smelling, hence the name. It has a little amber notes in here, which explains the heart notes, and it smells like it's rich, multi-layered, multifaceted. It smells expensive. It then dries down to the heart notes of elemi, amyris, and apoponax, all tree resins. Some of these tree resins are more bright, spicy, and citrus-like in character, but they're still ambery. And then apoponax can also be known as sweet myrrh, so it's ambery, sweet, woody, dense, and rich. And this all explains this fragrance. It's very amber based. It's not vanillic. It's not going to be like a gourmand sweet fragrance. It has an amberiness to it. It adds this elegance. It's meant to be your special occasion head-turning fragrance. I kind of wanted something that it was kind of magical, and this creates a magic aura as the wearer. It is very nice, beautiful perfumery. If you enjoy fragrances like Xerjoff Naxos, I'm going to talk about Naxos later as well. It's almost a similar vibe overall, though they're not clones at all, guys. Always make original ideas. This is his own creation, but it does have that magical ambery aura from something like Naxos. In that way, it combines the honey and the ambers, but this does it in its own way. And then of course it dries down to one of the most expensive notes in perfumery, which is Santalum albunum. I can't remember the spelling, but that is real sandalwood as far as I know. It's very expensive, doesn't project much on its own. So this fragrance needs other notes around it to make all these ingredients project, because I do feel like honey, fig, and sandalwood are a great combination. It is woody, dense, a little bit smoky, Middle Eastern as well, I would say. But this is woody, honeyed, gorgeous, smooth perfumery. It also has oud in there. It's not a main character note. It's not like Mr. Radiance, which has a lot of oud in there. This has Cambodian oud, which is very much non-challenging, but it adds a layer of complexity, some richness in there also. It also adds longevity to a fragrance oud. It also then has orris, which has a slight earthy waxiness, not iris, but orris. Orris is the real version of iris, very expensive also. And it also has ambergris as well, which adds a slight salty mineralic muskiness in there. Overall, this all combines into creating one of the most rich, opulent fragrances you'll ever smell. I think that the name is really apt, it's really appropriate. Who should wear this fragrance based on my testing so far? So Mr. Opulence to me is a fragrance for anyone who likes fragrances like Xerjoff's Naxos. If you like fragrances like Gris Charnel, so that's the reference to the fig and sandalwood in that fragrance also, but I would say Gris Charnel is more unisex, a bit more soft. This is a bit more royal-like, let's say, for kings. If you like Jubilation XXV, that fragrance, again, it's that non-challenging oud in there. It's a bit fruity as well, and that fragrance has the fruit notes. It has a similar vibe as well, meant for royalty. I will say, Mr. Opulence to me is our most Middle Eastern fragrance, most Middle Eastern-like fragrance, made by John Stephen, a British perfumer. But it's sort of like if you wanted to know how Omar would make a fragrance if I collab with Amouage, then maybe this is it. It's not quite Amouage, but it'll be the closest thing we have to something like an Amouage creation. But overall, so of course, it's our own creation, our own collaboration. And yeah, if you want that kind of vibe, if you're feeling that, Naxos as well, I guess some people could say it smells a little bit Middle Eastern-like, but yeah, this is kind of the vibe we're giving off of Mr. Opulence. Something like a rich royal family from Oman might wear Mr. Opulence, in my opinion. You wear this primarily, I would say, in the evening when you want to turn heads for special occasions. Again, the same functionality you would have with something like Xerjoff's Naxos, an elegant head-turning fragrance you wear for Mr. Opulence as well. Masculine for sure. More mature. How mature would I say it is? I would say Mr. Elegance for us is the top in our maturity level in the Connoisseur collection. Then Mr. Fragrance. Then I would say Mr. Mesmeric and Mr. Opulence are on the same level in third place, tied up. And then Mr. Radiance would be the least mature smelling out of the Connoisseur collection, but they're all fairly mature. Elegant, masculine, mature, lasts around 10 to 12 hours with a medium to loud projection. We had to get several iterations correct to get the projection up and up each time. Wear this more in the evening time, but I guess if you have a special occasion event in the daytime, you can rock this as well. Special occasion event, head-turning fragrance. We want to smell like money, we want to smell like wealth. Wear this in the primarily evening time in the autumn, winter, and spring. I think those are its most optimal seasons, but I do think you can wear Mr. Opulence in the summertime just about. I wore this in Spain as well, actually, recently. Well, yeah, I just came back from Malaga, actually, guys, so yeah. So I was in Malaga and I wore this fragrance, and yeah, I still think it works. That was around 20 degrees Celsius weather, so it can still work. You should go light on the trigger, but overall it's those 3 seasons mainly. You guys might already know about our offer right now. We're pricing this at its lowest price it'll be available for, including a complimentary sample to try the fragrance first, as well as free express shipping for Mr. Opulence. How it's going to work for this pre-order, guys, is you're going to be able to reserve a bottle for $1, only £1, and then you only pay on the 28th of February when the low price offer ends. Then after that, you can pre-order the fragrance for the full £150. And when you're pre-ordering, you'll still get the complimentary sample and express shipping included. Later on, we're going to take that away. It's only going to be £150 for the bottle on its own, and then the other stuff you have to pay extra for. So even if you see this after the 28th of February, still make the most of pre-ordering while you can. And what we're doing as well for the first batch of Mr. Opulence is going to be very limited numbers for this batch. And whoever orders the first batch will get my personal written signature on the box, as well as a numbered label on the box, so you can tell exactly which bottle number you got from the entire batch. And those two things will let you know that you were one of the first people to ever acquire Mr. Opulence. So go ahead, guys, I'll leave a link in the video description and pin comment down below. What are your thoughts on Mr. Opulence so far? Are you interested in trying out our final permanent fragrance from Atrium? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our recently revealed Mr. Debonair up here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.